In the first meet of the season, the NCAA record was shattered. Big throws in college and high school set the stage for 2026. Will this be the biggest indoor season in collegiate throws history? Find out on this week's Throw Show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Throws Show. I am, of course, your host, Jason, joined, as always, by the People's Champ, Olympic trials competitor. He is the head throws coach of youth development at Throws University and Garage Strength. Please welcome Coach Sam Weeks.
What it do?
Sam, this is our first throw show of 2026. We took a bit of a hiatus during the fall following the World Championships. If you haven't already, we did post our top 10 moments of the year 2025 in the throws. So if you kind of want to see what our recap of the year, it's pretty World Championships heavy, not going to lie, but we cover multiple different points throughout the year in which the biggest throws happen, the best moments with biggest celebrations, and honestly some controversies that happened in the year 2025. But we're here ready to go back on schedule for 2026 as we discuss the big openers that happened in the December at the tail end of 25 in the college scene, in the high school scene. Sam, usually this doesn't happen in December. Usually December meets are fairly low key, but some fireworks have already gone off in both high school and college.
Yeah, I look at the fall as like all of these athletes were in the hyperbolic time chamber. Yeah. Like they were just getting, they were building their foundation, just getting to work, and, they're popping off super early. Like we have a lot to talk about today just based off of the athletes, both in the NCAA and the high school. And, it's just like one of those things where it's like, when you're grinding for so long, it's finally nice to just like pop off. And that's exactly what these athletes did.
Yeah, and before we get into our first video of today as we recap this December almost mini season in the indoor scene for college and high school, I do want to remind and announce to everybody that we have an upcoming competition that will be live streamed on the Throws University YouTube channel in 1 week's time. That's going to take place at Spire. It's the East Coast Throws Festival. You saw that live stream last year where my boy, Coach Sam Weeks, walked away with the victory in the indoor men's discus throw. And Sam, I believe you'll be taking another crack at it this year.
Yeah, so myself and the GS team will all be going to the East Coast Throws competition, to really kind of just set off for the shot putters, the indoor season, and for the discus throwers ourselves, just to see like where we're at with our training. So yeah, we'll be heading over and, starting things off.
Yeah, so we'll be live streaming the discus throw and the shot put throw next week. So stay tuned for those live streams. I'm pretty excited for that one because I actually think these indoor discus meets, you don't get to see too many of them in the United States. I just feel like they have a pretty unique vibe to them. How'd you feel about last year's competition?
Coach Berjalid over at Akron University has been doing a really good job with just like getting these competitions started. He's had a couple this year so far with, his athletes, but I think overall, like the environment is great. Like we have a big community come out, pros, collegiate athletes, and high school athletes, and we're all just in this one facility, just talking about throws and, sharing information with each other and just general networking with each other. And I feel like it's just like really good for the throws community, but like at the end of it, like we're all here to compete. And, when you have a great group of people just out there having fun, like it just makes the competition that much more special.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be a 2-day event. The first day we'll have all the competitions. So if you're in the Northeast Ohio area, again, this is going to be at Spire Institute, which is in Geneva, Ohio. So if you're in that area and you want to watch some cool throws, you want to meet some of the Garage Strength throws team, including Coach Dane Miller, feel free to come out, enjoy the day. Got a lot of be a big throw. Going to be a lot of big throws. If you're a high school athlete, you have chances to compete as well. Get a good mark out there to show colleges in the early indoor season. And also for day 2 will also be a clinic where Coach Dane will be speaking as well. So if you want to enhance your throws knowledge, check on out Throws America on Instagram for more information. We have the link down below in the description. And if you just want to just improve your distance as a thrower, sign up for the throws competition. Or if you just want to see some far throws, again, head over to Throws America for more information. That's Throws America on Instagram. Again, that's the link in the description. Okay, so now let's get rolling with the big throws in the NCAA, and we're going to start off with the biggest throw in the NCAA. Not only is it a national record, it is an NCAA record as Axelina Johansson out of Nebraska breaks her own national Swedish record indoors, as well as breaking the NCAA indoor record at 19 meters 72. This is a monster toss. We talked about Axelina last year throughout the throw show, especially in the indoor season. She's one of my favorite throwers. I love her technique. I love the way she moves across the circle. This is no surprise to me. I thought she's going to be a future 20-meter thrower, and she's inching closer and closer to 20 meters. And now she broke the indoor NCAA record. But she broke 2 records, from pretty established shot putters. So she broke Jorinde van Klinken's indoor NCAA record, who she's currently a professional thrower for the Netherlands in the discus throw, and she broke Fanny Roos's indoor Swedish record. So Fanny Roos is one of the top most consistent female shot putters in the world. She still has the outdoor record for Sweden, but Axelina is going to be chasing that down soon as we get closer to the outdoor season. Sam, what do you think of this throw? Again, I love her technique. I don't really have too many notes.
Yeah, dude, I think this toss is phenomenal, especially as a season opener. I think I agree. Like, I am a big fan of Axelina's technique. I think she is like one of the best throwers when we're talking about getting downhill, from your sweep, like out of the back into the middle. Mm-hmm. She does a phenomenal job of that. There are several angles of this toss out on Instagram, and you can really see how deep she loads her left and how that loaded position just allows her to get downhill with her right. Like, I think it's phenomenal. And I think if you want to develop that skill as a thrower yourself, go watch that clip. If you go on her page, you'll see it. She just gets downhill, and I feel like that just allows her to really get into the finish.
I want to tell you, I've never heard that cue before, but as soon as you said it, it made perfect sense to me. I love that. I love that cue. Use that cue for your own throws. Going downhill. The idea.
Getting downhill. I got that from conversations with Tamon, who got that from Darrell Hill. So
yeah.
Get downhill.
I love it. And honestly, one thing I'll add before we move on to the next throw is I just love the reaction here. Her whole team's here supporting her. You see Justin Sinclair there. Justin Sinclair is one of the most consistently high producing throws coaches in the NCAA. He's the head coach at Nebraska. Used to be a head coach at North Dakota State, where he coached Peyton Otterdahl, who also was an NCAA record holder at the time. And actually, I could think he might still be the indoor record holder for shot put. Or no, actually, I think Turner Washington might have that record now. But still, he threw over 2180 in college at North Dakota State. And he's just been consistently pumping out great throwers. Like the other NCAA leader, also from Nebraska, and that's Cade Moran, throwing 20 meters 07, new personal best, becoming a 20-meter thrower on your first meet of the season. You can't ask for much more. He's the current NCAA leader. We'll see how long that holds, or if he improves on it. I'm looking at Cade, and, what's funny, what gets me about him is he looks so young, and I'm like, there's probably so much more for him to grow. What are you seeing on Cade's throw here, and a 20-meter throw in December?
Yeah, dude, no, that is a huge opener. Obviously, to have 2 athletes from the same team to go crazy, that's a coach's dream.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Cade. I like his technique. I love the celebrations at the end. There's nothing better when you're just in a great environment and you can just go out there and have fun. And, you can clearly see it in this video. They're all having fun. It's a true, just great environment. And when you are in a position where you can stay relaxed, that's when usually the best throws happen.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this again. We were talking about Axelina's technique. He has really good technique. He has really good movement. I think it's clearly evident that Sinclair has a model technique that he tries to get his throwers to execute. And obviously everyone's going to have their own little subtle differences, but you can see like the main idea is with Cade's technique, as you see with Axelina's.
Yeah, it's the conversation of technique versus style. Like everyone's gonna have a specific style that works best for them, but at the end of the day, like the same technical model, is applied to everyone.
Well done, Cade. That's awesome. 20-meter thrower right off the bat. And now we're going to head over to the weight throw as we discuss the NCAA leader in the women's weight throw, as we have Antonette Nnabwe of Minnesota. We talked about her last year, another 23-meter throw, 23.74 in the weight throw. Sam, you're more the weight throw expert between the two of us. What's funny is like I feel like we always see her busting out these 23-meter throws. She's definitely in contention to fight for an NCAA title come March. What are you seeing on her throw here, and what do you think of Antoinette's overall movement? We also set her, and one thing I want to mention is we also saw her set a PR at the Ramona meet that we were both at in April last year in the hammer throw. But what do you think of her weight throw technique, and how do you think this translates to her hammer?
Yeah, dude, Antoinette, she's a dog.
Yeah,
like let's just put that first. Like she is a dog, dude. She's a beast. Like you said, she went to Ramona. She dropped a bomb alongside the other Minnesota, hammer throwers. But
Angelos and Zoltan,
yep. Like, that whole squad, they are just like, they understand the assignment with hammer and weight technique. Yeah. And obviously, on the women's side, she is the top dog. Like she has been, very consistent in both hammer and weight. And, we're seeing this here with this season opener. Like her best is 24 meters. I think it was like 24 low or 24 mid. And to open up at 23 mid, 23 high, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Especially this early, like it's December. I feel like she's probably going to push like a very far mark come NCAAs.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen 25-meter throws before from collegiate women. It'll be interesting to see where she grows here. I think what's interesting about her is she has a smaller body type than you'd see with like other like really far weight throw women. So I think it's like, to me, it's like when I look at her, she's like the classic hammer throw build. So to see her translating that the weight, now it is a lighter, noticeably lighter ball than the men's weight, but like when I watch this, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, as a layman who's not too familiar with the weight throw in terms of how to execute that technique, it looks like she throws the weight like a hammer.
Yes, yeah. You're going to see that with a lot of the best of the best. There's only one individual who we both know who doesn't quite throw the weight like they do with the hammer, but
and we'll see that person later on in this episode.
Majority of the top weight throwers use their hammer technique for the most part, because the weight is a special strength tool for hammer throw.
Right.
So a lot of the, the technique that they do, like staying nice and long, relaxed, kind of just building through it, is to better their hammer.
Right.
And, to go back to her size, like, yeah, she's not really like the biggest, but, seeing her in person, she's the twitchiest person, like one of the twitchiest persons I've ever seen. Like,
right.
She just gets the ball moving, and she just hits it at the finish, and clearly, like, open up over 23. Like, that's the definition of that. So, like I said, she got that dog in her.
I love it. Antoinette, 23.74, phenomenal NCAA leading throw. And we're going to go to another huge women's shot put throw. This one, something that you and I are both super excited when we saw this. We had the privilege, of covering her most of last year in the high school scene, as Jessica Oji sets a new personal best, her first meet at the University of Pennsylvania in UPenn's new facility that I'm actually kind of excited to visit. It looks really cool. But throwing 17.72, this is a 1 foot indoor personal best. She was dominating high school track last year as a senior, where she threw 57 feet 4.5 inches indoors. She was only like 1 inch short off of the high school national record. So she didn't get a chance to claim it, but she's back throwing again as a freshman at UPenn, breaks the Ivy League record. 17.72 is a massive throw. We're talking about throws that usually locks in All-American at that distance. What do you think of this throw? 1772 round first meet out as a true freshman, breaking the Ivy League record. She not only broke the Ivy League record, she kind of shattered it.
She smashed it. Yeah,
she absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, not I'm a big fan of Jessica. One thing that I think is very crucial that I think a lot of people don't really talk about is the transition from high school to college.
Yep.
Even though on the women's side the implement does stay the same, there are just like, I don't want to say challenges, but like making that transition, sometimes there is that step back.
Yep.
And I'm very glad to see that Jessica isn't taking that step back. She's actually taking 2 steps forward, right? Her technique is very consistent with what it was last year. Like, I'm sure, her and Coach Isaiah, were fine-tuning little details.
Shout out Coach Isaiah Simmons. Great guy.
He's amazing. Like, he's doing a great job. Not just with her, but like the whole team. But they clearly have a good foundation, and she's continuing to build off what she did in high school, throwing a foot further this early on.
Yeah.
So like they clearly got the system down, and she's going to be one of the top freshmen to watch. One of the top athletes to watch, but definitely like top freshman to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be cool because, obviously, garage strength athlete Sam Mattis, he went to Penn and has their discus record there. He won the NCAA championship there. He actually has one of the farthest throws in collegiate history, over 67 meters at Penn. So to see her kind of continuing that legacy of, really phenomenal Penn throwers.
From New Jersey.
From New Jersey, yeah. Also, she's not too far from where we are. It's exciting to see. New Jersey consistently busts out just amazing high school throwers, again, like Sam. So it's exciting to see where Jessica's going to end up. But I got to say, I really love her technique. Like, when we were talking about styles versus technique earlier, like, she has her own style, especially the way she like moves her left arm out of the back and into the middle. But like, if you just look at her core movements, like the way her right gets down in the middle, where her left foot gets down, like super tight position, catches the shot deep, stays grounded. This is a model technical throw anyone should watch.
Absolutely.
Well done, Jessica. And this one, I have a few clips that I kind of want to share here because this guy just had himself a weekend, and we're going to first start off with one Texas Tanner out of the Air Force Academy. This guy is just shattering service academy records left and right. So he had his opener at with Air Force at the Wyoming track facility, University of Wyoming, where he broke the service academy record in the weight throw. It's a new Air Force record. It's an NCAA leading mark, 24 meters, 18. We were talking about before we started recording, he's just all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, dude. Tanner's jacked. He's a phenomenal athlete. I got the privilege to meet him last year at Ramona, and like,
nice kid.
I was telling you, like, when I went to go pat him to congratulate him, and it was just like hitting a brick wall. I was astonished. But like, dude, following him after Ramona, just like seeing what he was doing, like, he is a phenomenal athlete, and not just in one event, but like
all three ring events.
All of the events, dude. Like, he is extremely good.
Yeah. What are you seeing on this 24-18, and how much you think he got left in the tank?
Dude, I think the biggest thing is, like, look how fast he's moving. Like, he clearly has a good rhythm for the weight, and he is just able to accelerate from start to finish. Where do I, personally, this is just my opinion, I think he get a little more transfer into the finish, but, like, dude, like, you're still throwing 24 meters, like, that's like very, very minute stuff, but dude, like, I'm rooting for. I know he's gonna go crazy.
You think, before we get into his next throw that I want to discuss, you think hammer is probably gonna be like his more primary event? Because he's thrown 75 meters in the hammer, he's thrown near 20 in the shot, and he's thrown, I think, 63 in the discus. Like, you seeing hammer as probably his future?
I think if he wanted to specialize in one, he could specialize in any of the three. I think hammer would probably make the most sense for him, especially with what he's been able to produce already. And especially looking at the technique. Like, if you're looking at his technique in all three, I think hammer is the most refined to allow him to throw even further.
Yeah.
Now, saying, like, looking at his shot and looking at his disc, he has really good technique for those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like his hammer is, like, one step ahead of those two events. But realistically, he could specialize in any of the three and perform really well.
And what's crazy about this event in particular, where he threw 24 meters, is this wasn't even the furthest throw in that competition, which we'll get to later. But I will still want to stay on Texas because not only did he break the Service Academy record in the weight throw, he also broke it in the shot put. Now, to fill those in, what the Service Academy is basically he is the best thrower to come from, you know, a United States military academy. So that means he's the farthest thrower in the history of any person who competed at West Point, Navy, Air Force. I'm trying to think if there's another service academy that I'm missing.
Army?
West Point.
Oh.
Yeah. I apologize. Please tell me if I'm forgetting one of the service academies. I don't think the Coast Guard has a service academy, but I could be wrong about that. So I apologize. Please let me know in the comments below of how wrong I am. I'm sure Coach Ryan Hirschberger will have something to say about that because he knows all the history of the service academies. But yeah, 1977, he's edging closer to 20 meters. Like, dude, this guy's just dynamite.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like if you look at this toss, like he's a little long to the middle.
Yeah.
But dude, like he catches back and he just punches it. And it's just like, I know like if he wanted to specialize in shot, like he could definitely clean this up and put himself in a better position to throw 20, maybe 20, 50.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's the thing is like there are some things like, that I have like he's a bit long out of the back, so his right foot's not landing in the center. And because of that, his left foot lands in the bucket. But the thing, though, is he keeps that momentum moving. And that's what I think is important for any young thrower out there. It's like you don't have to have perfect technique to hit a bomb, but you got to let that energy keep moving and commit to the throw. Mm-hmm. And, like, even if he's slightly out of position here, he kept that commitment fully through the throw, and he was able to accelerate the ball really well to a new personal best.
Yeah, and, you know, don't get us wrong, like, this is week one,
you know,
of
course.
The NCAA, so, like, he has a lot of time to refine his technique, but just, like, off rip, you know, this is just what we're seeing, but we know, like, if there's anyone who's gonna, you know, do something, it's gonna be him, so...
Yeah, and he has a great environment, great coach in Kyle Lilly there at Air Force, so it's exciting to see what he has to do to pop off. Now, I want to show off one more video from him, and I just thought this was freaking crazy. 190 kilo clean as a collegiate athlete.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the guys who've, you know, cleaned over 180, 190 kilos at garage strength, they didn't do that till after they were post-collegiate. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he's doing this, he's this strong while being active at Air Force, and I can tell you this, I know with some of these service academies, like they're doing PT beyond their actual training. Mm-hmm. So the fact that like he might be, you know, treading water for periods of time, you know, at the Air Force and then has to come in and go for a PR power clean, like he's on another level. And I'm sorry we're glazing him so much, but I just want to really explain like how impressive this is, like from a strength and explosiveness perspective and overall as an athlete.
Yeah, you got to be strong to throw far.
Yeah, so it's exciting to see. And like, dude, honestly, looking at that, like, we'll see. He might be cleaning 200 kilos out of college, which is just an impressive, freaky number. So as I spoke earlier, the throw by Texas Tanner at Wyoming in the weight throw, throwing over 24 meters as the NCAA leader, was not even the farthest throw at that competition. Because we're bringing it back to last year's indoor season where every week I swear we were talking about Daniel Reynolds. And this year we're talking about Daniel Reynolds yet again, who's now a post-collegiate, likely going to try to win the USATF Indoor National Championship in the weight throw, which will actually be taking place again at Ocean Breeze this year. So hopefully we have a chance to go out and see that live. But new personal best, 25.59. And one of the reasons why I love talking about Daniel Reynolds last year is the same reason why I love talking about him this year, is because he is still a two-turn weight thrower, breaking records left and right, 25.59, huge monster throw. And all I'm thinking is, Daniel Hall is the current world record holder. Could we potentially see Reynolds as a future world record holder as a two-turn weight thrower?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so just based off of the Instagram clips that him and his coach post on Instagram, they are very locked in with weight right now. Obviously the big goal is like hammer, but I know they do short wire hammer, they do whammer, they do a lot of weight work, and I think that's the goal. It's like, how far can we push this two-turn even more? Because obviously 25 with the two-turn is ridiculous and it's out of this world, and I know like we talked about it all last year and we're going to continue to talk about it because he's in a master class.
No one else is doing.
Yes, no one else is doing that, and it's just like out of this world, and we get the privilege to see him if he goes to the U.S. Nationals.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to fanboy, fangirl, whatever you want to say it. I want to see, bro, I'm going to stand in the back and he's going to hit the cage. Like, it's going to bounce. I'm stoked. I'm
trying to think, like, what would be the most comparable, like, way to throw another implement to this? The only thing I could think of is just, like, you're throwing 80 to 85 meters in the javelin from just crossovers and no sprint.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't really know how else to compare this, like, because I would even say this is even further back than being like a glide shot putter.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
I forget what nationals it was, but Tamon, Eric, all the guys, they talk about this. When Ryan Krauser half turned, I think it was 21 or.
So I watched him half turn over 22 meters
22,
at the Olympic trials in 21, where he first broke the world record.
I think that, like, when you think, okay, a 22 meter half turn is out of this world.
Yeah.
I feel like a 25 meter two-turn is within that same category.
That should give you an idea how like, I don't want to say absurd, but like how crazy it is that he's able to pull this off. Like, it's working for him, and it's like he's opening off his season with a new personal best, right? So he opened up the season, I believe, at either high 23s or low 24s last year, and eventually be able to throw 25 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he added like another half meter to his PR, and it's his first meet of the season. So for all we know, like 26 meters, getting close to a world record is not out of the question.
Yeah.
Especially because that's in February. So he's still got like,
we got time.
Yeah, we're looking at like 7 weeks of progress here. It's
I can't wait.
It's crazy. And now we're going to go to the high school ranks, as we're going to start off with the high school weight throw leader for girls, and that's Khloe Barber, setting a new personal best of 17 meters 22. The video's a little bit small, so it's kind of hard to see exactly what she's doing, but a lefty throwing the weight in high school, it's pretty rare, so you don't see it too often. Not too many kids have an opportunity to do this while they're still in high school. What are you seeing on her throw here, and what do you think she could do to improve herself throughout the season?
Yeah, so obviously weight in the high school realm isn't as popular as, like shot or disc, just because there are not as many opportunities. But when, you do have the opportunity, like, it is nice to get that experience. And, that's something that Khloe is, doing here. One of the things with her toss, I know it's kind of a little hard to see, but she does a really good job of staying long and relaxed. For her, she is a lefty, so she's going to be working the ball to her right, and she does a really phenomenal job of that. And you can see, like, she's accelerating from turns 1 to 3, and she's able to really just transfer all of that energy into the finish. So, this was a really good toss, and I'm very excited to see what Khloe does for the remainder of the season.
Congratulations, Khloe. That's an awesome throw to start your season. So we're going to stick with the high school weight throw here, as we have Ryan Evans, who is the current high school leader in the boys weight throw, throwing over 81 feet, near 25 meters. Dude, like, we're just consistently pumping out like 80-foot plus weight throwers in high school. There were a couple of them last year. It's exciting to see that more and more kids are picking up the weight throw and the hammer. And all it's going to do is, and we've kind of seen this effect in the post-collegiate ranks, the depth in both women and men's hammer is off the charts compared to where it was 10 years ago. And I think it's seeing athletes like Ryan here really like starting to throw earlier on, as opposed to being exposed to it in college. That's showing that huge resurgence on the international level we have in those events. But what do you see on Ryan's throw here? I'll tell you what, man, this kid is like I know you have to be fast to throw the weight far, but he is like noticeably very, very fast through his turns.
He gets extremely long with the ball. Like, I always talk like for right-handed throwers, like getting the ball left, and you can really see the ball stretches left, and then he just attacks 2, 3, 4, and just transfers everything into the finish. Dude, like, it's very similar to Texas Tanner, where it's like, yo, as soon as I'm getting into it, I'm going. And, it's just like one of those throws where it's like, dude, if you're throwing this far early on, like there's still some things that he can refine.
Right.
And if he does refine that, dude, like he might throw 25. Like he might throw 25 meters.
No, this is just great work, and it's gonna be exciting to see like how it shapes up starting in January of like, who else is going to open up in the weight throw. I know we had several kids throwing extremely far last year. It's going to be cool to see like the depth that we're going to see in the boys weight throw this high school season.
I think just to add, because this is at the track and at New Balance in beautiful Boston, Massachusetts.
Right.
I think the really cool thing is like obviously he's a New England guy, hailing out of Rhode Island, but like he has experience here in New Balance Nationals, assuming that he goes to New Balance Nationals, is back in the track at New Balance in Massachusetts. So like he has the, I guess, home court advantage. So
he's getting that ring time where the biggest competition's going to be.
He knows what the ring feels like. He knows what the environment is like. And like I said, if he keeps cleaning up his technique, he might go crazy.
Yeah. No, it's exciting because, and this is going to be a conversation, I think, for a future episode I'm going to want to discuss. But I remember last year, I think they had like 3 national meets back to back because I think it was like Nike, New Balance, Adidas.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm an old head compared to what it was like when I was in school. I guess I wish there's more. I wish there's only like 1 national versus like 3. But like what I noticed is I think the New Balance one last year is probably where most of the weight throwers showed up at. So this is really good ring time for him. Well done.
I think, and this is just my opinion. This is my opinion. We can have the different brands, their different nationals, but we take the top 5 from each and they all duke it out.
Do a meet of champions.
Meet of champions.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
And we're going to stay within the high school ranks as we have Kobe Bonds throwing a new high school leader, 64 feet 4 inches. Sam, I know you brought him to my attention. I really like the way he moves. I really like the way he catches a deep position at the front. You can kind of see where the ball's landing there. Well out beyond 64 feet. Well done for him. But, like, I want to watch this throw again. Like, gets super wide, gets right foot down in the middle, catches it deep. What are you seeing on this throw? Because I really like this movement.
Yeah, dude, he's another athlete who clearly understands a technical model. Like, we've had several conversations in the past, year or two where we're talking about younger athletes are getting better technique. And I feel like Kobe is one of the definitions of that. I've had conversations with Taman about this athlete in particular, and Taman was telling me like, yo, he does a really good job of like his social media. And I went to his TikTok and like you can see a progression video, from his freshman year to now. And it's like one of those things where it's like each year you can slowly see his technique get better. You could see he's getting stronger in the weight room. He's doing all the little things that you need to do to be a successful thrower. And it's like the fruits of his labors are showing, they're paying off already this early on into the season. So it's like, as he continues to build, with his understanding of the technical model, like he's going to be in a position to challenge 70 feet.
Yeah. Well, he even says here it's a 3-foot personal best as his opener.
Yeah.
Can't ask for much more than that as your season opener, especially to start, it's not even 2026 yet. Well, it's 2026 when this video goes up. At the time of this recording, like it's not even 2026 and you're already throwing that far. So 70 feet, that's...
it's a possibility.
It's very much a possibility, and we even see like Jessica OG commented, are getting almost 67. So it's like it's gonna be very interesting to see where the high school scene turns out, seeing multiple 70-footers. It's unfortunate. I don't think Jackson Cantwell is going to be competing for his senior year. So we were hoping that he would possibly break the high school national record last year. That's clearly not going to happen, but there's so many other throwers that are ready to take that place, take that mantle, that of dominance that Jackson had last year.
Absolutely.
And we're going to finish off this throw show with our last video of the day with a new high school junior class national record from Garage Strength's own Addie Styverson, throwing 53 feet, 7.5 inches, 16 meters, 34. You rarely ever hear of a high school girl throwing over 16 meters, but she didn't only do that in this throw, but the week prior she broke her own junior class record, threw a few inches further this meet here. We're looking at her, and to me, I don't think it's unrealistic for Addie to go 17 meters this year. No. She is so dynamic. She's so strong. She has the world junior record in IPL powerlifting in the deadlift. So you know she's got all the strength she needs to be an elite shot putter. I know Dane has done a lot of work with her to improve her technique. I know when she's come out here, you've helped her a little bit yourself. What are you seeing on Addie's throw, and how do you compare this throw technically to her throws last season?
Yeah, obviously I have the privilege to know exactly what Dane and Addie are working on. I won't go into too much details, but I can say, the biggest thing is just making sure that her overall rhythm is, staying consistent. And I think a big thing for her is just getting her left foot down at the front. They are doing a lot of work with making sure that is a consistent variable, because we know if she does that on a consistent basis, she's going to be in a position to not only break 17 meters, but slowly start to challenge 18. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Addie has an abundance of strength. Like, she challenges some of the guys that we're training on site, some of the high school guys we're training on site, strength-wise. So it's like, just keep refining the technique, keep getting good competition reps in, and then just, putting it all together.
Yeah, I one thing you said regarding the left leg is I'm noticing her left leg doesn't get as high from her transition from the middle to the front as I've seen in past videos when she's come to train over the summer. Mm-hmm. I like her entry. It looks like she kind of what you said about like going down the hill. I hope I'm not giving away your secrets. I'm only going off of what I'm seeing, having not talked to you or Dane about what you guys are working on. But like, I'm noticing clear technical improvement from only 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Obviously, Addie has a great support system. Mr. Styverson will come up, every once in a while, obviously get like a little training camp, like a weekend training camp with, Dane. And sometimes, I like to go out there and give my 2 cents. Not like give my 2 cents, but really observe. Sometimes I'll give my 2 cents. But, they come up and, we get straight to work, with refining her technique. And then obviously, really pushing in the weight room. And obviously Dane is in constant communications with not only Addie but her dad as well, just to make sure like, hey, we're doing everything in our power to make sure that when it's time to throw far, she does. And obviously she's lining it up this early on, and it's like as soon as they just continue to refine, she's gonna go even deeper.
Yeah, and she's the front runner for the high school national title, so it'd be awesome to see her continue to progress that and hopefully capture that title at the end of the indoor season. One thing I want to bring up with you, this is completely just speculation on my part, is 2026 has the World Junior Championship, correct? Is that going to be one of her goals, is to try to qualify for Team USA with that comp?
I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a distance that usually would perform pretty well. I think would usually make a final at that competition. So that's the thing I just keep in mind. She's still so young. She has this year of high school and then another year on top of that high school. So well done, Addie. Well done. And that's going to be it for our throw show this week. So before we close out today's throw show, just a reminder, make sure you check out those live streams we'll be having at the Spire Institute for the East Coast Throws Festival, hosted by Akron University. Those will be live on the YouTube channel a week following this throw show. And if you want to improve your strength, your ability, your technique as a thrower, just like Addie has done over the past year to become not only the junior class record holder, but also the sophomore class record holder, one of the top girl throwers in the history of high school track and field. You can check those programs down at the link in the description. You can also train with Coach Sam Weeks here with our custom programming. These are the same programs we've used to help him become one of the top discus throwers in the United States, that we've used with our athletes to go to the Olympics. So if you want that Olympic level training, make sure you click the link down in the description so you can drop some bombs. Peace.